Today we will take your bike from this to this to this, and finally culminating in achieving the holy grail of this. We've finally reached the end of the plating process for your dirt bike. This is generally the hardest, most onerous part, which is titling your freshly street legal dirt bike, a presentation in 3 acts. Please note that all of the links that are referenced in this presentation are in the description. So if you need further reference, or if you need any further help, feel free to email me at stoplogic1313@gmail.com or the comments. Here's the preface. The steps of uniform in this process to most states are a dual sport kit, insurance from your provider, an inspection, which most states require this, the paperwork, which will be outlined in Act 1, 2, or 3 for the 3 most popular methods, a wallet, a purse with an amount of disposable income, and time and patience, mostly patience. Act 1, transfer title from out of state. Before you do anything, watch the Haslip Cycles video in the pinned comment. This method is one approach for dealing with a motorcycle without a title. In most states with more restrictive titling laws, this is one method to achieve road compliance, such as Alaska. There are limitations to this method we will outline further in the presentation. Act 1, advantages to this method. This is one of the most straightforward and simple methods of titling a motorcycle. Most states will recognize the Vermont registration and have reciprocity. This method removes the need for a third-party bonded title or valuation hearing in most states. The process is relatively low cost. With every advantage to a method, there are disadvantages. If you have titling irregularities, you may be subject to a title audit. If you lose the title audit, you'll have to start over with the bonded title method found in Act 2. Vermont takes 4 to 6 weeks to process your application. Then you wait another 2 weeks for final stickers for your plate. You may wait 2 months or more to start titling your process in earnest. Many states more likely will audit you if you use out-of-state titling process too often. Outside of YouTube videos, there will be little help from the Vermont DMV with questions. If your bike is over 300 cc's or newer than 15 years of age, you will need to go through the VIN verification process. This might add a week or 2. Not every state will recognize this method, like California and New York, and likely will contest your transfer or at least scrutinize it more. So I watched the video. Any other tips? In the video they mentioned using the NADA fair price for the valuation of the bike. What's not mentioned is Vermont assesses a minimum $500 fee to bikes. Be prepared to pay a minimum of $78. It helps to bring the Vermont application when picking up your bill of sale only and have the previous owner put their stuff on it. You'll need the Vermont title form, the bill of sale, watch the Haslip video, research, verify with your state if you can even do this. Go to a not-so-local DMV, the one you don't plan to register at, and ask questions. Do not simply make up info, because it's a felony to knowingly falsify documentation. I have my plates, what now? If you haven't finished your road legal kit on your bike, do so. Required equipment per state, there is actually a table that I've provided in the description. If you have a Vermont set of plates, contact your insurance company and get insurance. You'll need to insure the bike under Vermont until you transfer the title. Make sure you check your state's minimum insurance requirements and set the minimums to the value of your state's. They'll send you home if you don't have this right. Get your motorcycle inspected if required in your state. Save and gather all Vermont documents and head to your tax office. In Texas, if you're a resident but transferring an out-of-state vehicle, the extra $90 doesn't apply. If you're an out-of-state resident, extra $90 does apply. Welcome to Texas. Be prepared to part with a minimum of $105. Texas, the 130U form example. If you do need a zoomed in version of this, let me know. I can get you this exact example page in the comment section below. Most likely I'll provide links to all of these forms you see on the Facebook page at Stop Logic Motorsports. In the video there was a part of that 130U form that referenced the station number. This is the highlighted area on the form below. Make sure that's what you put there. The rebuilt vehicle statement will be mostly if you made your own dual sport. Keep great records of all of the parts that you buy and where you buy them from. They might request that you have receipts for this. If not, you'll just list where you got it and what you put on there. This form is used whenever you have numbers that don't match, like a new engine in an existing frame, or you have a basically kit-built bike or a self-homemade bike where you make the own frame and everything else where it doesn't have a VIN number. Act 2, Texas Bonded Title. Most states have a bonded title process. This is specific to Texas. The process can be very daunting for people without experience. If you're out of your depth, look up local services to do this for you. It's more dollars, but sometimes the frustration is worth the money. These services start at $100, and I've seen some as high as $500 for the full process, a percentage of the appraised value of the vehicle. Not all surety bond companies will think your clapped out Craigslist specials worth their time. If all else fails, contact your insurance agency about a surety bond place that's part of their preferred provider network. If you're looking for the value of your bike, try the standard presumptive calculator in your state first. It's usually lower than NADA. Advantages to this method. It is unlikely there will be a challenge to your title. Part of the surety bond is verifying the VIN, lien status, and search for title issues. There is professional help available. The method can be used over and over without attracting the ire of your local DMV. You might find a preferred deal through your insurance company. The disadvantages to this method are, depending on the price of the vehicle, this can be very expensive. The base price is usually $100, but over $6,000 it's $15 per $100 or $1,000 valuation with a $100 minimum. If you have a bike built for mismatched parts, you're going to need a law enforcement inspection, which there's only a few places in the state that do this. If your bike is over 25 years old, you'll have to schedule a valuation hearing and in front of a judge get an assessment of your bike. Certain areas of Texas take up to 4 hours driving to get to a 68A facility. During 3 years, if the bond ownership has an issue, you may end up having to forfeit the vehicle. This is an example of the bonded title application. This is a $30 application that's non-refundable. This is the second page of it, and down below is where they're basically going to assess the value of your vehicle. This is a copy of the appraisal for your tax hearing. It's the VTR 125 form. Normally you won't need this unless the bike is over 25 years of age and has no sort of NADA value or standard presumptive value. If you build a kit bike, it's good to keep your receipts for this portion of it. This is again the VTR 61 rebuilt vehicle statement. Just like in method 1, good to keep receipts of all the parts you put on your bike. This is kind of an example page for the VTR 68A. Since you actually can't get this document, it has to be given to you by law enforcement. This is a page specific to finding and scheduling an appointment in Austin, Texas. Your standard 130U title application, which is still also required for this process. Don't call the phone number on it. It's basically a joke based off that old song. Act 3, I have a title MSO. This is the easiest part of the process. If you've hung in this far, chances are you don't need this, or you've had plenty of Red Bull or other caffeinated beverages. If you purchase from a dealer, this can be part of the cost of finance. It's that tax, title, and license part. If you buy from a private seller, then either two steps will work. You take the title, insurance, and 130U form to the tax office and apply for title if you have a street legal bike. If you don't, you put on a dual sport kit, get insurance, state inspection, grab title or MSO, fill out your 130, go to the local DMV and change your bike to a road bike. I outline the Texas state inspection and the dual sporting kits in the links in the description below. And Texas 130U form title form rears its ugly head for a third time in this presentation. Congratulations, you have successfully navigated bureaucracy.